Hello and welcome to this special meeting of the Council of the Town of Oakville. It's October 22nd, 6:30 p.m. And what you're in store for is the annual State of the Town address by the mayor, sometimes also referred to as the mayor's annual Oakville status report. There'll be a little bit of procedural goings on for a second. Then I'll give the speech. There'll be a motion to receive the speech. There'll be a confirmatory bylaw passed, and then we will end the meeting. And with that, I have to begin that procedural stuff. Madam Clerk, do we have any regrets?
There are no regrets recorded for tonight.
Thank you. I welcome everybody. I really appreciate everyone coming. Council, I'm required by bylaw to ask if there are any declarations of pecuniary interest. I'm pretty confident there aren't, and I don't see any, Madam Clerk. All right, with that, here you go. I want to thank you very much for your interest in my 18th State of the Town speech. I'm happy to report that Oakville has new achievements and better services. Yes, we have faced and are facing, and we will always face challenges, but we will face them with our well-known commitment to controlled growth, community engagement, care, and resilience. In 2024, our values strengthened. We strengthened our pursuit of truth and reconciliation with our Indigenous partners. Are you okay? I can't. There. I fixed that. You can look at the real me. I came up in live television, and that's how you handle that kind of thing. So we appreciate, and well, you know, we've got an alternative camera in your eyes. So I'm just saying, hey, use what nature gave you. We appreciate and acknowledge the treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. And tonight, I'm going to describe how our council's unanimous 2023-2026 strategic plan has been at the heart of everything that we've done this year. And I want to acknowledge how all members of council together have shaped our plan and its implementation. Ours is a plan to promote sustainable development and growth. It aims to maintain and grow our financial strength. It aims to create a livable town for all, now and for the future. With our unanimous strategic plan as my theme, let's explore our progress in 5 key areas. 1, controlling growth for responsible development. 2, a greener future of sustainability and climate action. 3, community inclusion and engagement for all. 4, financial stewardship for strong town finances. And 5, innovation and partnerships for better tomorrows for all. Now, when we talk about controlling growth for responsible development, we have to start with the fact that people all over the world and Canada want to and will call Oakville home. We are attracting the world's best and brightest. This growth is good for our community's vitality. Our council's strategic plan focuses on responsible growth to meet this need. And we need to spend a few minutes talking about how we handle growth. We will be livable, we will protect our environment, we will support and improve our services, we will add new housing for all types, we will keep and even increase our green spaces. We will focus on sustainability, walkable neighborhoods, and access to public transit. We are on track to add 33,000 new housing units by 2031 from our 2021 base. and they will go to our planned growth areas. These are the nodes and corridors where transit best supports growth. We have a plan to meet and exceed our growth objectives in a way that conserves the character of our stable, established neighborhood streets. And with our plan, we are actually growing faster than many municipalities. We are doing our part. And that's a good state of affairs given the sudden, massive increase in population set loose by the Canadian government without, I'm sorry, adequate warning, much less planning. Now, this has contributed to what many are now considering a housing emergency. And sadly, the Canadian government has decided it does not like the way we do our part. We direct growth to transit-supported growth nodes and corridors. They want us to intensify everywhere. To qualify for recently announced new infrastructure funds from the Canadian government, they demand we make 4 units as of right everywhere. They demand we make, quote, high-density housing, unquote, as of right everywhere within 800 meters of Sheridan College. They demand we freeze or reduce development charges, even if their grants do not make up for all of the lost revenue. Thus, they demand we shift some of the costs of infrastructure for new homes to your property taxes. Our council and staff have done our best to keep up with rapidly changing provincial policies on housing. The province has recognized our progress in increasing our housing supply. And in a way that really actually helps us with our long-standing vision, Ontario has just published a new provincial planning statement, or PPS. The PPS is a set of principles for land use planning. The new PPS reinforces our official plan's policies to conserve the character of our stable neighborhood streets where we live. They encourage us to control growth by directing height and density to transit-rich strategic growth nodes and corridors. Now, the good news on this is a Nanos poll this summer found that residents support this vision 4-1. This vision has been in our Livable Oakville official plan since we adopted it in 2009. And now Ontario, it's important to remember that in Ontario, it is the province of Ontario that has authority over planning and development. Canada has no authority over planning and development. We have a constitution, and that's how that breaks down. But Canada does have the power to withhold grants from us. And so we're going to have to consider whether we can make our way without their money. Up to now, the money they offer has been less than the money they want us to not collect from developers. And so for me, it's an easy decision. I want to turn now to Midtown for the rest of what needs to be said on growth. For a small part of Midtown, the province opened a new planning process in May. We have not been able to talk about it very much yet. Tonight, I am ready to say that their new process for that part of Midtown looks like a better process than the process that part of Midtown is now in at the Ontario Land Tribunal. So let me set the scene for this story. A developer appealed 4 major applications covering about 5% of Midtown to the Ontario Land Tribunal. The OLT will judge these appeals using our out-of-date 2009 Midtown Plan. And the appeals, they have recent provincial legislation on their side. And our existing official plan, just to underline this, does not yet conform to that new legislation, and it must. Our community has been grappling with the necessary changes to our official plan to comply with the recent provincial legislation. As a result, our policies have stayed out of compliance while we conducted the rich public consultation planning process that we like in Oakville. And not yet being in compliance with the Ontario legislation makes the OLT a very challenging place to sort out any part of Midtown, even the 5%. So in May, Ontario brought in its new provincially run planning process that might deal, that I think will deal with the 4 applications at the OLT better than the OLT would. Ontario calls its planning process a TOC. TOC is, it means transit-oriented community. And this means, the bottom line of this is that we have 3 simultaneously important and challenging pieces of work to do in Midtown. 1, our staff is preparing for the April 8th Ontario Land Tribunal hearing on the appeals that I mentioned. And 2, our staff must work hard to finish updating our 2009 Midtown policies through an official plan amendment. I may start calling that OPA for short. And 3, when the provincial team publishes its initial concept for its part of Midtown, it's going to seek public feedback. Our staff will need to check and comment on that initial concept. And we're going to want staff's opinion of the province's final concept for this part of Midtown too, when that comes out. Each one of these pieces of work is major. Having to work on all 3 of them at once feels unwieldy and even unnecessary. At the end of the new process, the province will ask council to endorse a final concept. If that does not happen, they can issue a minister's zoning order that would cover the 4 applications and have their way. That makes the OLT hearing look unnecessary to me. And therefore, tonight, I am asking the applicants and the province to put off the April 8th OLT hearing. It's unfair and unrealistic to expect us to handle the OLT case, the OPA update, and the province's new TOC process all at once. So, I want to turn in a spirit of positivity to the fact that Ontario's new TOC process in its part of Midtown looks to me like a better alternative than the OLT. And I believe we should participate in the province's new Midtown process. I think it's a truism, but it's worth saying that only by working together can we develop a better plan than the province would make without any input from us. The only ideas that we can know for sure that the province will not hear are the ideas we do not offer. And if you think about it, the great Canadian philosopher Wayne Gretzky said something like that, right? So the province is giving the public a chance the public will not have at the OLT to participate in the planning of this part of Midtown. And remember, the province is the only alternative to the OLT as the approval authority for this part of Midtown and also for our town planning policies, the OPA, when we get to that. And normally, when we do planning policy, we have to wait and see if the province will approve our policies. We finish them and we send them in and we wait months. I know of cities that have waited a year for an answer. So having the province at a public planning table that they run should at least reduce that uncertainty and delay. Our new official plan amendment, the OPA, will apply to new applications in the other 95% of Midtown upon approval. And we are receiving many applications in Midtown. That makes it urgent to finish our OPA even while the TOC goes on. Our old official plan and Ontario's new laws apply to applications before the approval of our new OPA. Our new draft OPA, released last week, shows our unclouded vision for Midtown. We want affordable housing for families included in Midtown. We want growth to provide amenities that will make Midtown livable. The rest of our draft is on oakville.ca and easy to consult, so I'm not going to repeat the rest of it, just urge you to read it. I want to turn now to talking about the greener future of sustainability and climate action that we are working on. We place a high value on sustainability. Growth gives us opportunities to increase our sustainability. Growth gives us a lot of opportunity to improve our town. And a vital part of sustainable development is public transportation and transit. Now, not all areas have enough ridership for a full bus route right away. And we've made our ride-on-demand public transit pilot program permanent in 2 such areas of town. We expect to expand this network to complement our transit services. And I want to tell you the really good news that transit has come back. In 2019, Oakville Transit had 4.1 million riders, and then we had a pandemic. In 2020, 4.1 became 1.9 million, and in 2021, 1.5 million. But today, ridership has rebounded. We served 4.1 million transit riders again back in 2023, just last year. And this year, by the end of the year, we expect 4.7 million riders, and that's a record for our transit. Our free transit program for youth and seniors has clearly boosted transit's recovery. Our community is more accessible to more people as a result. Now, along the way, to make transit sustainable, we are accelerating our switch to electric buses to cut our carbon footprint. By year's end, 15 large electric vehicle buses will join our expanding green fleet. Our council-approved Green Infrastructure First policy also promotes sustainability. We're creating green building standards for future growth. Those standards will recommend green roofs, bigger tree canopies, and permeable pavements, among other things. They'll reduce heat island effects. They will help our town adapt to climate change. Our town is making progress by collaborating on the global stage, too. There are many cities around the world facing what we face, and when we work together and exchange information and ideas, we're stronger and smarter. We joined the city's Race to Zero, a United Nations program to speed up urban climate action. We're collaborating with global partners to find ways to reduce climate change. At COP28, I had the honor of representing Oakville at the local Climate Action Summit, a first for any COP. I and 150 other mayors from around the world were selected to speak for the first time at the UN's annual environmental conference. My participation in COP28 led us to funding for our Youth Climate Action Fund. This fund empowers Oakville youth to create climate action projects. Oakville's green tech and our green building certifications make us sustainability leaders. And as green as our town already is, we know we need a greener future. We plant thousands of trees each year. We expand our trails and bike paths, and we invest in electric vehicle charging stations. This investment supports our goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Another thing that supports that is our new 16-mile community center and library will use advanced geothermal technology. It'll power the entire new addition, and it'll help the existing facility's energy needs when it opens in the fall of 2025. Our award-winning Oakville Trafalgar Community Center includes 1,300 solar panels and geothermal heating and cooling technology. Another sustainability project we have is the traffic light synchronization pilot. We aim not only to improve traffic at major intersections in Oakville, but also to reduce emissions from idling cars. Now, I wanted to talk about community inclusion and engagement for all. As we grow, attracting the best and brightest from around the world, it's incredibly important to foster a spirit of inclusion and engagement for all. And so I want to take the next few minutes to set out the state of our work on this vital objective. In Oakville, we celebrate diversity. Our inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility plan guides us. Now, the IDEA plan, the idea of the IDEA plan, is to make Oakville a place where everyone feels welcome and participates. This year, we expanded services for newcomers. We increased support for our seniors. We made town facilities more accessible. As regional municipal government members, we support programs to help the needy. Our affordable housing expansion will boost home ownership for those in need. And we will keep investing in programs that promote equity and diversity in our town. And this includes boosting the representation of underrepresented groups in our workforce. It also means ensuring our programs reflect the rich diversity of our community. And all of our success is possible because of you. Your feedback shapes our policies. We use the Community Satisfaction Survey to do this. This survey shows that residents are happy with the town's services and programs, with room to improve. So, for example, 89% of residents express satisfaction with the quality of services we provide. 94% express satisfaction with our parks and our green spaces. 88% express satisfaction with our waterfront, harbors, recreation, fields, and facilities. 85% express satisfaction with their sense of belonging to the community. Our parks, libraries, and rec centers in Oakville are delivering impressive results at bringing us together. But we know there's room to improve. And those numbers I just showed you, every number that wasn't 100% has room to improve. And we base all of this on feedback from our 2023 town hall meetings. This includes, among the things that we're doing, is new inclusive playground equipment at Lyons Valley Park. And tonight, I'm asking for the public, for your ideas and the public's ideas, to support and care for the growing number of homeless people in our cities. A crisis is growing in Canada's cities. Across Ontario, there are 1,400 encampments of homeless people in Ontario's cities. We have homeless people camping out in public sites in Oakville. One group recently took over a cemetery. They actually chased away residents who were trying to visit their family graves and memorials. Now, our regional social services teams are highly organized, and we deploy them as fast as we find out about these groups to come alongside them and help them get shelter, recover, and quit addictions. But it's a growing problem. And there is, I think, a mistake been made in the past. We now have legal tolerance for open drug use, and I think that's fueling addictions and mental health issues. It also follows, in my mind, that that's responsible, at least in part, for the growth of encampments. And my fellow Ontario big city mayors are calling me and them. We're calling for help for these people. They need more care from the provincial and national levels. We're calling for a review of the laws that govern care for those who are a danger to themselves or to others. Cities need new powers to regulate the use of our parks and open spaces, and yes, cemeteries. Courts have been making the homeless encampment problem worse by enabling them. And we may need Ontario to invoke the notwithstanding clause before we can solve this crisis. Please look at solvethecrisis.ca for more information on the crisis and what we know we can do for now. It doesn't cover everything I've covered here that I think we need to also be able to do, but it's a great start, and it's the home of the Big City Mayor's campaign on this question. Now, following a rash of break-ins and thefts in Oakville, Crime Stoppers of Halton has teamed up with Halton Police to launch a new community program. The Community Watch pilot program will start in the Southeast, or Ward 3 division of Oakville. I think this is a very promising move. Neighborhood Watch failed years ago because of the burden of administration and all of the work that it takes to do it. Having Crime Stoppers and the police actively involved, I think, gives us a much better chance for it to succeed this time. And I want to thank Councillor Knoll, who's the chair of the Halton Police Board, for your leadership in this area. And I can tell you that friends of mine were broken into, or rather there was an attempt to break into the home of a friend of mine just yesterday. They have little kids. There was terror, and they didn't get in, but you know, it was the kind of thing that you don't want your little kids to ever see happen. And I don't know how to express how urgent I think this is, that we've got to get a hold of this crime wave. On a better note, I want to turn now to the financial stewardship that we practice in order to have strong town finances. We're also committed to a financially sustainable future. Our financial strength is so good, I'm going to need less than 3 minutes to update you on the state of our finances. Plus, our annual budget process runs for the next 2 months, so there are lots of opportunities ahead for this topic. I'll just summarize it now as our draft budget, published today, calls for a 3.92% overall property tax increase. This, or near it, will keep the trend of tax increases at or below the trend of inflation. We will still be able to afford to maintain the high quality of our services, and we know how important that is to you. We have a strong financial base to face the future with. And it's not just me claiming it. The Institute on Municipal Finance and Governance at the University of Toronto ranks our financial health as the strongest of any city in Ontario, and not by a little. This recognition comes from years of careful budgeting and management. The 2025 budget process has been more open than ever, with more chances for public input. Our tax increases have been and will continue to be lower than those of our neighboring cities. And our services will continue to be better. Think of the smoothness of our roads compared to our neighbors, if you don't think of anything else. Think of how timely our snow clearing and leaf pickups are compared to our neighbors. And this winter, we're offering new options for our windrow clearing service. In our budgeting area, one of our strengths is we were the first government in Canada to adopt performance-based budgeting. And we're still practically the only one. Only a couple others have followed us. But our use of performance-based budgeting has earned us international recognition. I attended a City Data Alliance online seminar on using data to improve residents' lives. Oakville received praise for using data to improve our efficiency. One official said, "You use data to drive your budgets." Oakville is a great example of performance-based budgeting. Now, I want to thank Oakville Enterprises Corporation for helping our financial success. They have decided that they're able to raise their dividend to the town and double it from $6 million this year to $12 million next year. And these funds will finance new features for our town. New features such as a new central public library that we could not afford without having higher taxes. And our Municipal Development Corporation is on track to deliver good dividends too. They will also increase our supply of affordable housing. Now, we're going to keep reminding the provincial government of its pledge to cover the gaps they created in our revenue when they implemented a bunch of discounts and exemptions in development charges. And we need those funds to pay for growth in order to make it true that growth pays for growth. And as I said earlier, the Canadian government's approach to this issue is only complicating the problem of making growth pay for growth. I don't want existing homes to pay for creating new homes, and I don't think you do either. Now finally, innovation and partnerships will provide us with better tomorrows for all, and we continue to be a top spot for job-creating investments and innovation. I have 5 or 6 minutes of good news for you on the state of our economic and innovation opportunities. We made Site Selection Magazine's list of Canada's top 20 places to invest in 2024 again. This is our 6th year on that list. And what an investment we got with the support of the Ontario and Canadian governments. Forward of Canada's $2.3 billion investment in the Oakville Assembly Complex will secure 1,800 jobs at the complex. Workers will return to work sooner than expected. I have assured Ford of Canada's executives that we will work collaboratively in real time so we can approve their building permits without delay, and they will meet their construction schedule. Our work with the City Data Alliance and Johns Hopkins University complements the town's data strategy. It will improve our efficiency and service delivery. And we know residents value efficiency and effectiveness and high performance. The Johns Hopkins team toured our town. Our downtown, lakeside parks, and Gerlach Gardens impressed them. They also liked the sustainability of the Trafalgar Park Community Center and the many features of our Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center. One of the team members who lived and worked in Boston told us, "We don't have anything like the Queen Elizabeth Park Community Center in Boston." I said, "No, you should move to Oakville." We're also making ongoing improvements to our digital services for residents. That is going to increase your efficiency and your productivity. We've improved our trees, patio, and sign permit processes. We're looking forward to more improvements to our pool and building permit processes. And for personal support, you can call Service Oakville or visit the town's website. Our website update lets you reach town services, pay bills, and stay updated on our news and events. This is no small thing in a city that no longer has daily print media. And 87% of residents who use the new town website report satisfaction with their experience. The City Labs conference last week gave us a new chance to innovate for our residents. City Labs is a joint program of Bloomberg Philanthropies and the Ash Center at Harvard. And they've invited us to join their Mayor's Innovation Challenge. We will compete for a $1 million US grant. Only 25 cities will win a $1 million grant to fund their winning innovation project. One requirement to win is to have participation by successful local entrepreneurs. Oakville's successful entrepreneurs who want to help can expect my call to invite them to join our team. And innovation is the core of our work with Siemens Canada on wildfire prevention. New advanced technology and sensors can detect fires in an early smoldering state. The project that we're working on with them will help find and stop wildfires before they spread. This early warning system will give firefighters time to prevent fires. And remember, last year, Canada had record wildfires. You may recall smoke from Western Canada affected our atmosphere here in Oakville and all over Eastern North America. This is not a problem we can ignore as somebody else's. The effects come to us. I'm proud that one of our Youth Climate Action Fund grants is for a team of students from White Oak Secondary School, Arnav, Cheyenne, and Rohanth. And they're here. I'm really pleased that you're here. And their project turns out to fit into Siemens' work on their project. And so Siemens has welcomed them as participants. This has opened up a lifetime's worth of big opportunities for these students from White Oaks. And I congratulate them on their prospective success. Leadership and innovation and protection from fire are pretty important traditionally for our town. And the accolades that our fire chief has earned this year show that we continue to earn respect. I want to take a minute to share some of those accolades that our chief has earned. Chief Paul Boissonneau has won 3 national awards. They honor his dedication to fire safety and emergency services. He received the King Charles III Coronation Medal. He won the Career Fire Chief of the Year Award, and the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs named him an Executive Chief Fire Officer. Chief Boissonneau is also the Secretary of the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs. He's a director of the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs. These roles represent his profession and the town at the highest levels. Ontario Solicitor General Michael Kersner has told me he enjoys working with our chief, and I couldn't agree more. I also want to acknowledge Finance Commissioner Nancy Sully for her 34 years of outstanding service to the town. She is going to celebrate the end of this budget process by retiring. Thank you, Commissioner Sully, for your great service to the town. So to conclude and look ahead to the future that we create every day, I want to take a minute to just talk about how we get there. We're finishing 2024 and moving into 2025 confident about Oakville's future. We know we will create a better tomorrow for all, and we'll do it through controlled growth, smart planning, and community engagement. I encourage each of you to keep playing an active role in shaping our future. We will go further if we go together as we create our future. And we will create a great future because we know it's more important to look ahead than to look back. Back is not where we're going. The rearview mirror is for seeing what might be catching up on us from behind. Our headlamps are in the front for a reason. Thank you, council and public, for your passion for and commitment to our town. And a word of thanks and respect for our dedicated and professional staff. Your experience and education and belief in our town make us able to reach the high goals we set for ourselves. Together, we are practicing the 58-year-old motto of our town, Avance, which means, as I translate it, keep moving forward. And that's the only way we'll become or stay Canada's most livable town. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you excuse me, I'll ask for a mover and a seconder to receive the report. Councillor Dudek and Councillor Shih, thank you. Any objection? There being none, that's carried, Madam Clerk. I now would ask for a mover and seconder for consideration and reading of the bylaws. Councillor Lischina and Councillor Elger. Madam Clerk, I'm looking for objections. There are none, and so that is carried as well. And the confirmatory bylaw has been read, considered, and passed. That ends the business of the meeting. I wish everybody a great evening and a better tomorrow, and I'll look forward to seeing you here in our chamber and working with us. Good night.